All right, welcome to the explainer. For so many international couples, there's this one huge moment, this single interview that stands between them and starting their life together. We're talking about the U.S. spousal visa interview. It feels super high stakes, right? But it's absolutely not impossible. So today, we're going to crack the code on how to get ready for it.
Okay, let's just get right to it. The whole thing, the entire interview, really just boils down to this one really personal question. You're basically being asked to prove that your love, your commitment is the real deal to a complete stranger. Yeah, it sounds daunting, I get it, but it really doesn't have to be.
Probably the most important thing you can do right off the bat is to just shift your mindset. This is not some pop quiz where you're going to get a pass or a fail grade. Seriously, don't think of it like that. Instead, look at it as your chance, your opportunity to build a solid, undeniable case for your relationship. You're not making anything up, you're just presenting the evidence of a life you've already built. So, to help us build that case, we're going to use this framework I like to call the relationship proof pyramid. Think of it this way. Each layer supports the one on top of it, creating this really strong, stable structure. We're going to start at the bottom, the foundation, and work our way up, covering every single angle that consular officer is likely to look at. All right, so layer one. Every strong case has to start with a solid foundation, right? Before an officer can even begin to understand your love story, they just need the basic verifiable facts. Who you are, who your spouse is. This is square one.
And honestly, the goal here is way simpler than you might think. It's not about memorizing an encyclopedia about your partner. Not at all. It's just about confidently knowing the fundamentals. The stuff you would naturally know about the most important person in your life.
So they might ask a question like this, which seems almost too easy. But that's exactly the point. It's a baseline. If you stumble or hesitate on something this basic, it can raise an immediate red flag for the officer. It's just one of those non-negotiable pieces of information. So these are the key categories you really want to be comfortable with. The officer might ask about your spouse's job, what they like to do for fun, maybe even who their parents or siblings are. Knowing these kinds of details, it just shows you have a genuine interest and you're involved in each other's lives. And that's what forms that solid base for our pyramid. Okay, so with that foundation set, we can build on it with layer two, telling your shared history. This is where the dry facts start to turn into a real narrative. It's your chance to move beyond just data points and tell the authentic story of how you two came to be. Look, every couple's story has these key moments, these milestones, and the officer wants to hear a consistent story about yours, from the moment you first met and then started dating, all the way to the proposal and the wedding day itself. These are the big, pivotal moments that really define your journey together. And this one, how and where did you first meet? This is often one of the very first story-based questions they'll ask. It's really the beginning of your official narrative. So be ready to share that origin story clearly and confidently. Think of it as the hook that gets the officer invested in your journey as a couple. And in that same vein, a question about your wedding guests isn't just a memory test. Nope, it's really the officer's way of checking that your marriage was a public event, that it was celebrated with friends and family. That's a huge indicator of a real, socially recognized union. But hey, a strong marriage isn't just about the past. It's got to be about the present, too. So for layer three, the officer needs to see your daily connection. They want proof of a living, breathing relationship that's thriving, even if you're thousands of miles apart. So how do you stay connected? Get ready to talk about the nuts and bolts of it. Is it constant WhatsApp messages, daily video calls, long phone calls on the weekend? The officer wants to know how you talk, and just as important, how often. This shows the real effort you're both putting in to keep the relationship strong. Now, this question, it looks simple, but it's way more profound than you'd think. They are not looking for a script here. They want to know if you talk about, normal, everyday things. Your day at work, what's going on with your families, your dreams, even what you had for dinner. This is what shows a real, intimate partnership, not just some kind of logistical arrangement. And beyond just talking, sharing your resources is another really powerful sign of an integrated life. Does your spouse send you money for support? Do you have any shared financial responsibilities? This stuff demonstrates a level of trust and interdependence that is, frankly, very convincing. Okay, now for a really critical layer. Hard evidence. Up to this point, pretty much everything has been your spoken story. But here, in layer four, is where you back it all up with tangible, physical proof. You gotta show, not just tell. And you can expect very direct requests just like this. The officer is going to want to see the evidence with their own eyes. So, having your documents, your photos, all that stuff organized and ready to go isn't just helpful, it's essential. It shows you're prepared, you're taking this seriously, and you have nothing to hide.
The real goal here is to cover all your bases. It's not just about having one type of proof. It's about having a variety of proof that supports your story from a bunch of different angles. Photos prove you spend time together, financial records prove you rely on each other, and things like travel documents prove you make the effort to physically be in the same place.
All right, we've made it to the top of our pyramid. Layer 5, planning your future together. A genuine marriage isn't just about what happened in the past or what's happening now. It's about a shared future. The officer needs to be totally convinced that you have a concrete, real plan for your life together in the U.S.
So right here, you need to paint a really clear picture of this transition from your life apart to your life together. Talk about the specifics. Where are you going to live? What are the plans for work, for family? The officer needs to see that you've actually talked about this and planned this future as a team. This question really gets to the heart of it all. They're looking for a shared vision. Have you guys talked about having kids? About buying a home one day? About how you'll support each other's careers? A detailed, unified answer here, well, that's the capstone of your entire case. And there you have it. By building your case layer by layer, starting with those foundational facts, adding your shared history, showing your daily connection, backing it up with hard evidence, and capping it off with your future plans, you've created a complete, logical, and really convincing structure. You've basically shown that your marriage is the real deal from every possible angle. So, as you get ready, just remember this. This isn't an interrogation that you need to be afraid of. Not at all. It's the one moment where you get to officially tell the story of your relationship to someone whose job it is to hear it. Prepare to tell that story with honesty and confidence, and you'll be more than ready.